Hello crafty friends, it's Alicia of the Call Me Crafty YouTube channel, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing my very first project for the Crafty Christmas Collab hosted by Bourbon Creek Crafts here on YouTube. I hope you'll stick around and see what I'm going to make. Thank you so much for stopping by today. If this is your first time to my channel, I hope by the end of this video that you'll be inspired to click on that subscribe button below and maybe even tap on that bell for notifications. If you're already a subscriber and regular viewer, welcome back. I'm so glad that you're here. As I mentioned in the intro, in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you a project that I am creating for the Crafty Christmas Collab that Bourbon Creek Crafts is hosting here on YouTube. This will be a month-long collaboration. All of us will be stopping by on each Sunday in November to share a creation using the same paper pad all month long. Beth thought it would be a great idea to get out those old Christmas-themed paper pads we've had sitting around for who knows how long and actually make them into projects. Once I heard about the collaboration, I went through the pads I have. I probably do have 4 or 5 that are Christmas themed, but I only had one that I had not even touched a single sheet of, and that was the Cranberry Christmas Hot Buy pad from Michaels. I honestly don't know how old this is. It could be last year or the year before, but I had not even opened the sides yet. Those were still sealed until I got out my papers for today. So I'm glad that I'm going to be able to play along and use up some of this paper. In the description box below, I have a list of all of the collaborators, including Beth the hostess, who are playing along this month. You can click on their channels to go get subscribed, and if you want to check out the videos that have been uploaded for this collaboration, you might want to click on the hashtag Crafty Christmas Collab 2019 because we don't have a set time on Sunday when we have to post, so not everybody might have their video ready to go. But if you click on that hashtag, you'll be taken to all the videos that have been uploaded so far. I hope you'll go check each of their videos out, watch them, give them a thumbs up, leave them some love in the comments. For my project today, I'm going to be using the latest SheetLoad of Cards, the November 2019 issue. If you want to know more about this, I will link the videos below where you can find out how to download this for free if you're a subscriber, and then see how I made the very first set for this month. Now, if I leave you with any questions after you've watched my video, please make sure to leave those in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you just as soon as I can. Before I get started with the process, I do want to show you some of the supplies I'll be using today. If I add anything later, I will try to remember to include that in the voiceover. For my sentiment, I'm going to be using this Hero Arts Stamp and Cut Stamp and Die set. I will be using the Merry die cut and then the Christmas from the stamps. I will be using this fishtail banner die to go along with the stamp and the die cut for my sentiment. For my papers, I got out 4 pieces of kind of a burgundy or cranberry cardstock. These will be my card bases. I got out 1 more sheet of the cranberry in case I need it for my die cut words. And I got out some natural ice cardstock, and I will be putting this on the inside of the cards just so it's easier to read the inside personal message because this background is so dark. Now, I might be able to use some scraps from this to die cut my fishtail banner, but if I can't, I might pull out another sheet later. I have already pre-selected the papers that I'll be using. I'll be using the 2 here on the left for pattern paper 1 and 2. And instead of using a cardstock for the CS1, I chose one of the dark green pattern papers from the pad. I didn't really have any cardstock that matched this green, so this is just another way to show you how you can make the SheetLoad of Cards work for you. To get started, I tried to do as much cutting as possible. Once I had those first 2 pieces of pattern paper cut down just like the directions say, I got out the dark green pattern paper, and instead of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock, I will be cutting 8 pieces that are 4 inches wide by 2.5 inches tall out of this 12 by 12 pattern paper. Next up, I cut down that cranberry cardstock for my card bases, and once I had those cut and folded, I went ahead and cut that natural ice cardstock for the inside of my card bases. I ended up cutting 8 pieces that were 3 1/4 inches wide by 4 1/2 inches tall. And then, because I wanted to decorate them just a little bit, I did then cut down some scraps of the pattern paper that were 3 1/4 inches wide by 3/4 inches tall. And you'll notice here in just a little bit that the piece gets too small for me to hold and cut. So I get out my blue Scotch removable tape, and then I can just tape that to my cutter where I need it. And then I have 2 pieces that are the correct size, and that tape does not ruin the pattern paper. Once I had all of my PPA pieces placed onto the front of my card bases, I then started decorating the small piece that will go inside for the personal message. You'll notice here that when I put a pattern paper down at the bottom, that I put that with a card base that has the opposite pattern on the front. The next thing I did was mat all of my B pieces with that green pattern paper. Once I get this done, you'll see that I go ahead then and cut it down according to the instructions on the sheet load of cards. This just makes getting those pieces the correct size easier. Once I had those pieces cut, I then started assembling the rest of the cards. I put that smaller piece to the left and then rotate the cards so I can get those aligned across the card as closely to perfect as possible. And now is the time to start getting my sentiments ready for the front. I will be cutting out 10 of these fishtail banners from the natural ice cardstock, and I was able to just use a scrap from what I had already cut up. Now you might be wondering why I am cutting 10. That is just, I want to make all the cuts at once. I don't want to have to get my die cut machine back out, so later if I kind of goof up on one, I have an extra. Once I had those fishtail banners cut, I then started cutting out my Mary die cuts. I did double up the cranberry cardstock so that I could cut 2 at a time. I ended up cutting out 10 of the Mary words as well. To adhere my Mary onto the fishtail banner, I'm going to be using the Tombow Aqua glue pen today. There is a kind of a brush end and then a fine tip end. Because I only want to get adhesive at the very bottom of each of these letters, I'm going to be using the fine end. And I really don't squeeze the bottle very much. I get kind of a drop on there and spread it out with the tip of the glue bottle. Now normally you might see me use my glue sponge for this or my Xyron, but because I will be using foam tape to lift this up off the card front, I could only get adhesive on the very bottom of those letters where it meets the fishtail banner. I did let these sit and dry for about 20 minutes underneath a stamp block before I moved on to the next step. Once those were all dry, it was time to do the stamping. I used the Christmas from the stamp set, and then I used the Cherry Cobbler ink spot from Stampin' Up. After I stamped all of those, I got out my big blue roll of foam tape and I put a small strip across the back of the fishtail banner, and this just helps me pop this up off the card. This blue foam tape is super economical. I get it on Amazon. I will link what I get below as well as a couple other widths. Once I had all of the sentiment pieces adhered to the cards, I realized that I needed a little something to the left of Christmas. There was just a little too much white space for me. So I pulled out my stickles in holly. This is mostly green, but there is a little red glitter in there. And I put 3 dots to the left of Christmas on each of the cards. You'll see there that I did get my stickles started on another piece of paper. That's just in case I have an air bubble, it won't come out on my card. I let all of these dry for about an hour, and here are some close-ups of the finished cards for you. I hope you enjoyed this little process video today. If you did, as always, I appreciate a thumbs up. I will be back next Sunday with another video for the Crafty Christmas Collab. Until then, or until my next video, I hope you're having a crafty day. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch all the way to the end of the video. I hope that you'll consider clicking on one of the videos or playlists I have linked above, and if you're interested in any of the products or tools that I use in the video, I do have some links in the description box.